In a quiet suburban neighborhood just outside of Columbus, Ohio, a boy named Jake Miller grew up like any other American kid. He loved baseball, adored his dog, and had dreams of becoming a firefighter like his dad. But life has a strange way of testing us, and Jake's test began when he was just 14. After his parents divorced, Jake's world changed. His once cheerful home turned into a battleground of silence and weekend custody arrangements. The emotional void swallowed him. He started hanging out with older kids who introduced him to cigarettes, then weed, and later, prescription pills. Pills that numbed his pain and made him feel invincible. By the age of 17, Jake was fully addicted to opioids. What started as a way to escape became a cage he couldn't break out of. He dropped out of high school, stole from friends and family, and lost all sense of purpose. His days blurred into one long cycle of getting high and crashing hard. The same kid who once wanted to save lives was now destroying his own. He was arrested twice, once for shoplifting, once for possession. Each mugshot was a little more hollow. Jake's father had stopped calling, and his mother cried herself to sleep most nights, wondering where she went wrong. At 21, Jake overdosed for the first time. EMTs brought him back, but the damage to his soul was already done. Jake didn't care if he lived or died, but sometimes all it takes is one moment, one crack of light in a room full of darkness. Jake's second overdose happened in a public restroom behind a gas station. He collapsed on the dirty floor, barely breathing. This time, there was no friend to call 911, but fate intervened. A homeless veteran found him and called for help. When Jake woke up in the hospital, something was different. His mother sat beside him, holding his hand with tears running down her face. But she didn't speak. She just held a letter, one Jake had written to her years ago when he was 10, promising he'd always take care of her. That was the moment everything changed. Jake checked himself into a 90-day rehab facility in West Virginia. Detox was hell. There were days he begged to leave, nights when his screams echoed down the hall. But slowly, things began to shift. Through therapy, support groups, and sheer willpower, Jake confronted his demons. He realized he wasn't just addicted to drugs. He was addicted to pain, to self-destruction, to the belief that he didn't deserve better. He started journaling, writing letters to his younger self, and talking to other recovering addicts. He saw himself in them, the hopelessness, the fear, the hunger for something more. After completing rehab, Jake didn't stop. He enrolled in community college, majoring in psychology. He volunteered at a local shelter, and most importantly, he began speaking at high schools, sharing his story with students who might be on the same path he once walked. 5 years later, Jake Miller isn't just sober, he's a force of nature. Today, at 28, Jake runs a nonprofit called the Second Chance Project, which provides mentorship and resources for recovering addicts across the U.S. His TEDx talk, titled "The Power of Rock Bottom," has over 2 million views. He's been featured in Time magazine and appeared on morning shows talking about the opioid crisis and the power of transformation. But he hasn't forgotten where he came from. Jake regularly visits juvenile detention centers and shelters, reminding kids that their past doesn't define their future, that your worst chapter isn't your final one, that redemption is real, but it starts with belief. People think strength is never falling, Jake says during one of his talks. But real strength is choosing to get back up again and again, even when your legs are shaking. His story isn't about perfection. It's about progress. It's about choosing hope over hopelessness, courage over comfort. And the most beautiful part? Jake doesn't share his story to get applause. He shares it to give permission. Permission to heal. Permission to grow. Permission to believe that even the most broken can become whole again. Jake Miller's story reminds us that no matter how far you've fallen, there's always a way back. All it takes is that one moment, that one decision to fight instead of flee. To anyone battling addiction, depression, or self-doubt, you are not alone. Jake was once you, lost, broken, number, but he found his way, and so can you. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need the will to try. If Jake's story inspired you, drop a heart in the comments to show your support for recovery warriors everywhere. And if you want part 2, the day Jake faced his father again after years, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications.